Hello Slapafish community and welcome back to another World Tanks Console video. So in this video I'm going to give you 7 tank lines I think you should grind. So let's just go ahead and get started with it. The first one is one of my favorite lines in this game, and that's the IS-4 line. So the IS-4 is the IS-4 line, even if you grind up the line and you don't like it, it does have the advantage of branching off at multiple stages of the tank. At the KV1, at the KV1, and it also branches off at the KV1 to the KV2, so you can go down to the artillery line, but you also get to play the KV2. Or you can go from the KV3, which is the tier 7, and branch off to the double barrel lines. So yeah. So, the majority about the IS-4 line, it teaches you about side scraping and how to angle, especially at the KV1s, the KVs. They're all really good. They all have really good side armor and really good frontal armor, so you can all learn how to angle, side scrape, and the KVs are just really good at being heavy tanks. They're very big, they're slow, but really good armor. If you know how to use the armor just works really good. Also, unlike the other Soviet tanks, the IS-4 line actually has gun depression. It has anywhere from 6 to 8 degrees from the KV1 all the way up to the IS-4. I believe the ST1 is the one with the 8 degrees of gun depression, where the T150 and KV4, and I believe also the KV3 had 7 degrees of gun depression, and the IS-4 has 6 degrees. I remember playing through the IS-4 line, and everybody would be like, why does Soviet tanks have terrible gun depression? And I remember hearing my IS-4 line like, what are you talking about? I have really good gun depression. But yeah. The highlights for this line is just pretty much every tank in this line. Every single one of these tanks have its weaknesses and its strengths, but its strengths way outweigh the weaknesses. So try this line out, grind it, KV1. Try the KV1. If you like it, good. If you don't like it, well, at least you tried it. So the next line is the T110E5, which is the American heavy tank line. The American heavy tank line, the T110E5, is a very much all-arounder tank. It's decent speed, decent mobility, decent armor, and decent gun. It also has 10 degrees of gun depression on the E5, and the entire E5 line has gun depression, almost 10 degrees on every single tank on this line. The tier 7 to tier 10 are very hold down monsters, which they can go down, hold down, and just stay hold down and very much just rip apart anything that it sees, especially the T29 at tier 7 if it gets hold down, or the T32 at tier 8. It gets hold down, it pretty much will not be dug out. So, also, tier 4 to tier 6 also have multiple guns. The multi-weapon gun system, so if you like the multi-weapon system, the tier 4 to tier 6, the M3 Lead, the T1 Heavy, and the M6 all have those types of guns. The highlight of this line is definitely the T29 and the T110E5 at tier 10. But they all are really good in their own ways, but those are the 2 highlights of this line. So the number 3 one is I know a couple of people is going to be happy about this, especially Daniel. So the next one I can recommend is the Staretsvang 103B line, the Swedish tank destroyer line. This tank line is known for its concealment and very accurate guns, and its hydro pneumatic system, where starting at tier 8 all the way to tier 10, you have your hydraulic pneumatic system. Siege mode, where you can go into like a firing mode, where you have really good camo, really good accuracy, but terrible mobility, or you can go in your speed mode and just zoom around. With speed, most of the tanks in this line have their gun locked to its hull, but that's where the siege mode comes into play. And this is not like an automatic siege mode. This is where you have to press a button. The highlights of this line are very much the IKV-103, which is at tier 5, the IKV-90 at tier 7, the UDES-03 at tier 8, very unique tank, not another tank in this game like it, and the Sturret's Volume 103B at tier 10. Number 4 would be the STTiger line. It's a very unique line. Also, it is exclusive to console, so you can be grinding exclusive to console line. So, yeah. The STTiger entire line is known for its ginormous guns. This line has one of the biggest guns in the game. They have the biggest guns in the game, especially the STTiger, where it has a 305 centimeter. I believe it's 305. I could be a little bit wrong. Let me check that. No, 380, which is definitely the biggest gun in this game. So, good luck with that. Also, the STTigers are known for its splash radius, especially the tier 10 STTiger, where it has only 15 meters of splash, which 15 meters of splash on its premium high explosive, it makes some funny moments. And if you're ever trying to go for the Bombardier medal, then the STTiger line is the best for you. Also, the STTiger line is just really fun to just derp around with. It's just, this line is very much of funny derps. Not really to take this line serious, it's just a line to just have fun with. The highlights for this line is definitely the Sturmpanzer at tier 7 and the STTiger at tier 10. Now we move on to the Sheridan. So the Sheridan line, which is the American light tank line. These are all around light tanks. They have good mobility, good camo, good view range, and good guns. At tier 9 and tier 10, which is the T-49 and the Sheridan, have both a 152mm gun that is very good at derpy guns. They're very fun at being very derpy. The highlights of this line is Chaffee at tier 5, Bulldog at tier 8, and the T-49 at tier 9. Also, guys, if you end up liking this video, consider subscribe because it's free and it helps out the channel a ton. Number 6 is the Soviet medium line. Now, there's multiple Soviet medium tank lines, but I'm talking about the ones that lead to the T-62 and the Object 140. So when you run this line, you have actually multiple different tier 10s to pick from, which is the only line that I'm recommending that grinds the different tier 10s. So you got the T-62 and the Object 140. Also, the tier 5 at the beginning of this line branches off to 7 different tier 10s, which is crazy. And that's the T-34. So this line is very good for it's known for its decent armor and quite good mobility, and their low profile, especially the low profile picks up at tier 8 with the T-44, the T-54, and the Object 140, and T-62A at tier 10. These are really good medium tanks. They're pretty much the definition of what a medium tank is. It's like in the middle between light tanks and heavy tanks. They're like in the middle, basically what a medium tank is. Not as fast as the light tank, not as good armor as a heavy tank, but just in the middle. And the guns make up, especially when you get to tier 10, where their DPM are really, really high. It's one of the highest DPMs in the game. Highlights of this line is pretty much the entire line. Every single tank that you're going to play in this line is very fun, and they're all good in their own way. So the last and final line is actually the Chinese tank destroyer line, the WZ-113 GFT line. This line doesn't really get talked about much, but it is a very good line, especially when this line got a buff, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago. They got buffed. They got an armor buff and a alpha buff, a damage buff from 7, especially the tier 10 went from 750 to 850, but keeping the same reload. So, these tanks have really good alpha, really good armor, but they're also whole lot TDs. Most of the tanks have really good armor, but they also have the little lower plates that could be easily penetrated, but as long as you hide those lower plates, you're pretty much unpenetrable. So the highlights of this line are the T-34 TGFT at tier 7, the WZ-111 GFT at tier 9, and the WZ-111 13 GFT at tier 10. So, guys, those are the 7 tank lines I think you should grind. So, if you end up liking this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, remember to Slapafish, because 100%, and peace out. See ya.